tall, so not the biggest barbarian, but I'm jacked.
To hair braids.
We could put our parents in the way.
That's if we put it in 2 braids and then we wrapped it around and then we gave up the flowers sticking together. And then what if we did this?
May I have another drink, please?
Yes, you may. And he goes over.
Put your hands up, it's better!
No. Sarah, roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Yes, you, I'm gonna fight you.
He's sort of a, you guys know who I am, right?
Yeah. Goggles.
You're
Dr.
Mole?
Robot. Dr. Robot.
What do you do?
Take a moment to try to stop laughing.
Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing with the other one!
Why not? It worked again.
Hating on Batman.
And I don't hate Batman, for the record. I hate the fandom of Batman.
Oh, cool. Okay,
That's the
that's
issue.
way more people.
It is. It's
To
a
hate.
lot, like actual human beings.
Were you gonna
You need to rub this crap off your neck and not smell like me. Or a wolf at all. Just start rubbing his neck and just getting like...
I am fairly certain it doesn't matter what I smell like at this point.
To a feline. You have wolf's piss on you.
I'm just gonna point at my feline eyes.
I have some time.
You've just tuned in. We had the brilliant idea while we were fishing at the Dark Moon Festival.
Oh, jeez.
To do a dungeon with fishing poles equipped. Because why not? And so we drank all of the alcohol in our bags, and we equipped our fishing poles and our aquatic pets, and we went to do a dungeon.
I feel like I need to close out.
So this was the end of our epic tale. What holds for next week as the heroes set sail? We may find more family, we may find where things start. All we know is to follow our heart. So our heroes set forth to pillage and to wander in the magical continent of wonder. We have one more question. I hope to not blunder. The question for you, dear friends. Do you wonder? Thank you, guys. Indigo Connect.
Oh, hello there. I didn't see you. Come on in. The water's fine. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Indigo Chameleon. It is Wednesday night? No, Thursday. It's Thursday night. So it's time for a little Dungeons and Dragons.
I
yeah.
think we might have lost Meoweth.
Did we? She's.
Someone take a screenshot. Take a
posing.
screenshot.
I asked her to do that, and I think you.
She's been practicing her statue.
Yeah. So right now, yep. Right now, she was posing, and then she's coming right back. So hello, everybody in the chat. First off, thank you so much for everybody. That's a look. The ginger sheep, you were first. So yes, thank you. Welcome back. We miss you. You are all a sight for sore eyes. We have a few announcements before we get started with tonight's game. We've got lots of upcoming things happening here on the channel. Yeah. So, in terms of upcoming stuff here on the channel, usually on Fridays we have a game set in Neverland, and we kind of left on a cliffhanger where we had a bunch of invisible rogue types that were lying in wait, and thanks to some really well-timed wild magic by Eris, they discovered what was going on. Unfortunately, I have it on good authority that we may have to postpone tomorrow night's episode. I just received a call right before the stream started, but stay tuned to the Discord. So we may need to just postpone tomorrow night's episode. But you never know. You can follow us on the Discord and hang out, and you'll be able to find out all upcoming info about streams, and if we are able to throw together a one-shot just in case. Or if I just go, we can't do anything tomorrow. Sorry, but I love you guys. So that's on Friday. However, I'll make it up to you on Sunday. What about a classic game of D&D? What about a wonderful, horrific game of D&D, DM'd by the very own Big Mike himself? We got another episode of Pen and Paper this Sunday, folks. It's Sunday, so you can hang out, you can rage during the weekend, and then on Sunday, thanks, Magnoth, a good friend of mine gave it to me. He was very handsome. Yes, you can come and view Big Mike lead a game of D&D, pen and paper, and you can see some amazing heroes trying to make their way out of this horrific house that still gives me nightmares. So tune in for Pen and Paper on Sunday. We would love to have you guys. What time do we start that off? 4? 5? That sounds about right. 5 o'clock. But Backstage kicks off around 4:15, so you can come and hang out with us. Backstage is a little thing we offer for subscribers to come and chill. So that's on Sunday. On Monday, we have a very fun one-shot with some brand new faces to the channel. We have a one-shot where it's based off an internet meme of the kids that accidentally misspell Satan instead of Santa when they're asking for presents, and Satan going, you know what? No, these are mine. I'm delivering these presents. So tune in. It's going to be a lot of fun Monday night for this cool one-shot. Tuesday night is Christmas Eve, so I've given the Wonder Crew the night off. We encourage you all to go stay up late and wait for Santa, make lots of milk and cookies.
Or Satan.
Or Satan, whoever you wrote letters to. And then,
I know who I'm picking.
I know who she's picking too. So then that'll cycle us back around to Thursday night. And I think that's it in terms of announcements. Come hang out with us on the Discord, like I said before. You can come support us in the merch shop, and you can come support us in the online store and up your digital avatar. Once again, for December, all goods are half off, but come January, new items will start to grace the store that you will be able to use to influence the game. So I think that's it for announcements. So, once upon a time in the Lost Isle, the group of heroes actually have a permanent home now. Spending a little bit of time in the library, they met the very first librarian to set up shop on the island. She is an endearing individual who believes that all animals have a right to be studied and examined and have a chance to live their lives. Enlisting the help of the group, the librarian has enlisted the group to take these small books with her that have been magically enchanted, and that they can be used to capture animals or creatures or beasties and baddies. The book will help them study these amazing creatures. Spending a little bit of time in the library revealed this to be a magical home for the group, and they spent a little bit of time establishing their homes and their rooms for the foreseeable future, each of them providing their own unique twist on things. William, their esteemed DM, did not pick a room or set up a room here in the library, opting instead to put up a distance that seemed safe and necessary in order for the group dynamic to occur. But he still enjoyed and reveled in their joys as each one of them found their unique spin on things. I encourage you to go back and watch that episode on demand on YouTube, or even as we begin to update it, check out the Wikipedia. We've got a really cool wiki that's got information on a lot of your favorite shows, including amazing stuff that I totally forgot about. Players have their own profiles with characters that they played and things of that sort, so it's really an impressive thing. So we will have links for that set up in the Discord ASAP, but thank you, Castle Master, for working on that. So we ended last week's episode with the group being on the island when the island traveled through time a bit. The island did something it has not done for a very, very long time. The island traveled not into the past or along a course where the group could affect the past, but instead, the island shifted into the future, sending our heroes to a brave new world. As they stood upon the shores of the island itself, they could look out and see just how vastly different this modern day take of Monterey Bay had become. They got to meet their very first character from the future, a basic operations bot by the name of Bob, who took to the group swimmingly. Unfortunately, Bob let them know at the very tail end of the episode that Bob had been given a nuclear bomb, and it had been implanted into his mainframe, and that's where we're going to pick up with tonight's episode.
He's a bomb.
They are going to
no.
look for nuclear vessels. He's a bomb. Bob is all smiles, and when I say all smiles, his face is somewhat plastered and stuck into one. Unlike the Warforged and some of the Warforged that you've encountered in your times here on the island, Bob looks a little bit lower tech, and I use the word scrumbled, which I realize is not a word, but I'm making it such because it fits so well. Bob has been scrumbled together. As he looks about the space, he jumps. He jumps on your good friend's back, Jay, and just sort of holds on. And Jay, instinctively, after thinking about it, picks him up and puts him down, and says, "Okay, guys, what do we do?"
Well, the last time I diffused a bomb, all I did was like drop it in salt water, and that seemed to do it.
He turns his head and looks at Bob, and Bob just sort of smiles, and then like looks at the ocean a little bit, and looks back at Bob, and Bob just continues to smile and look at the group.
When did you defuse a bomb?
It was on the Titanic. Didn't I tell you guys about that? Yeah, when you guys were getting people off the ship and everything, I went in. There was Wolf led me to this room, and we went right. Wolf, you were there. We opened it up, and there was a bomb, and I defused it. You guys didn't even know because it didn't go off because it got diffused.
Nobody hears this voice except for Turk, but Wolf looks at him and sort of cocks his head to the side confused and says, "Didn't you just drop it in water?"
Yes, but
is that
it diffused it?
I mean,
see,
sure.
Okay,
it stopped.
Here's the thing: he has a nuclear bomb, which is vastly different than a regular bomb, which probably could have been diffused in water. I mean, I'm not a bombs expert, but nuclear bombs that doesn't really matter. They're still going to go boom.
Well, I still seem to be the most expert on diffusing bombs at the moment.
During this conversation, Larethel is bending down. She's having to pull her red hair back from her face a little bit, and she sort of hits her knees and starts examining Bob. She will actually take a book out of her pouch, and as she does, she opens the book, and where the book once was is now a set of tinkerer's tools. Taking the tools out from the pages of the book, she begins to look at Bob and go around from one side to the other, going to the back corner. Okay, as she goes around to the back corner of where Bob is, Bob continuing to just sort of stand there and look about the group and sort of let her do this. She gets to a small area where Bob is not wearing much, but he is wearing sort of a rudimentary like shirt that says "Welcome to Monterey Bay." As she lifts up the shirt in the back, you do all see a red LED display. It's vertical. It's leading from about his midsection in the back all the way down, and on it is a small countdown clock. The clock currently shows 69 hours. Nice. Round or thereabout. And and is counting down from there.
Bob, how did it get? What happened?
Yeah, here's the deal. I'm from a small collection of individuals that are, how do you put this, obsolete. We have to kind of stay on the outskirts of town because otherwise we can't get swept up by the sweepers. I fell asleep or went into my rest mode, and sure enough, when I woke up, I had this bomb on my back. Crazy story, right?
Were you where you left yourself?
Calculating. No.
Okay. Where did you leave yourself?
Here, I'll show you. And Bob turns around and starts walking into the water. The water comes up to about his knees, and sure enough, after a little bit of time, Bob goes fully submerged into the water, just continuing to walk ahead straight into the water.
I just sigh and put my cape of my hood up and go into the water.
Wait, are you all doing this? Are you going after him?
It's kind of our thing. We help people.
Yeah, I know.
Also,
but
that's where we're from, I think.
that's fair. I never seen anyone leave the island. I mean, and he could blow up. You could all die, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Feasibly, but I guess death
But if
isn't
we let
really
him
the
go-
most permanent thing, right?
If we let him go, he's just gonna blow up other people that we could save. So
All right.
I mean,
we're gonna go save people.
technically we could die here. I mean, there could be a lightning strike. We could trip and fall, and
Flying rhino
we'll
could
go
fall
on
on
an
you.
adventure while we're doing it, right?
I mean, that's true. All right. Well, how can I help?
Do you have any books on bombs?
Bob,
Namely, diffusing nuclear kinds.
I mean, this will be a challenge. And she like closes the book, the tools disappearing from the pages, and she looks over at Jay, and she's like, well, why don't you come with me? And she sort of nods her head, and Jay goes, I'll go with. I'll do some research too. I've got all those like notebooks and
Your manual.
manuals.
See if you have a manual.
I don't.
Kiara, do you want to go get Bob real quick?
Yes. Look up and I go into the drink.
Sure. So Jay, I'll meet up with you guys as soon as I'm able to. Let me see what I can do. Just stay safe. Do your best. I'll see what the deal is about us, because as far as I know, I don't think we were able to go into the future at all. We were just supposed to be able to go through the past. But yeah.
That's weird, right?
That's, I mean, no weirder than every other day of our lives.
Are we sure this is the future? It looks.
Cass, give me a perception check.
20, not natural.
Okay, Cass. Yeah, you go. I wonder if this is the future. You turn around and it's hard to tell. Nothing much, like I said, has changed about the Monterey Bay skyline. You still see the Monterey Bay Aquarium. For the most part, a lot of it is still the same. You do see some telltale signs that you're not in Kansas anymore. A lot of the cars seem to be either on the ground or flying and hovering throughout the air. At a certain point, you see a car reach an apex in the sky and then, with a very small flash of light, disappear completely. So, yeah. So it's
either the future or some parallel universe.
Yeah. So with that being said, the two run off back to the house and start looking through manuals and start seeing if there's any way that they can get in any information about defusing a bomb. And they both nod at you, and she looks back at you, William, and says, "Hey, don't worry about dinner tonight, William. I'll just explain something came up. But you owe me one, all right?"
Oh, I won't be missing it.
Then I'll see you tonight. And she gives him a wink and nods at the rest of you and takes off running with Jay in tow.
So, are you not going with us, William?
No, we got until dinner to solve this, guys.
You think we're gonna be able to? I thought we had 60+ hours, but okay.
Better not take that long.
Kiara, as you turn around and you throw the cloak of the manta ray on and make your way into the water, as you do, standing before you, not too far away, is Bob, who looks perfectly at home in the water. And occasionally, as you're watching him, a small group of fish will swim by, and Bob's a small compartment on the front of Bob's shirt will open up, and you'll see these tiny pellets leave the container and filter into the water, and the fish will begin to swarm around him, almost as if this is commonplace and expected. And as they get close, there is a very tiny flash. With that, the fish all swim away. And give me a perception or an investigation check, whichever you prefer, Kiara.
Oh, do get the right page up here. Where's my Kiara dice? There they are. That is perception. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a druid. I'm thinking you're
23.
23. Yeah, you swim around and get and sort of survey the scene, and as you do, the image of the fish flashes against Bob's eyes for a second, and you realize that he is either programmed to, or at some point, is an avid photographer, and may in fact be a photographer that works hand in hand with the marine institutes that call Monterey Bay their home. So for the time being, Bob, while other robotics and different types of mechanoid individuals may be a little susceptible to water, Bob in fact thrives in it.
Lucky.
Yeah.
Okay, as a conservationist, Turk has got to ask, how's the planet looking these days?
So it's, like I said, it's difficult because the island puts off a natural energy. There is a light fog that rolls in with it, and the more you stand here on the shores and are trying to survey, it's as if you're surveying through a lens. And you realize that lens works both ways. It obscures the island from being detected by certain means, but it also works as a natural boundary between the magical and arcane that is so heavy on this world and whatever sort of technological advances have been made. However, the water looks clean. It's a little warm, but you don't know what time of season it is currently. But for the most part, the island, the areas surrounding waters look clean. Give me a nature check. As Turk, I imagine you were the first one to dip your feet in the water past Kiara.
Definitely. And that's a 19 on the die.
19. The waves are choice, a little choppy. So it leads you to imagine that it's somewhere in the spring, possibly like early summer. Which is nice. Late summer, give me August, September, and that water is going to be like groovy with a capital G. This is like choice waves that you wake up at 6 just to get that good swell.
Okay. What is keeping me from going back to my room right now and grabbing my board? That's all that I need to know right now.
It is up to you as adventurers.
After nuclear bomb.
Sometimes
you're not here.
We have to get off the island somehow, right?
After a bit of time, Kiara comes wandering back to the shore, hand in hand with your basic operations bot, who is still all smiles. You see a bit of fish swimming close by to where he was, and he goes, "That's on me, gang. I'm sorry. I thought you wanted to see where I was."
We're assuming you were underwater when you.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Oh, no. I was on land, but I have to walk through the water in order to get there.
Well, let us find.
Okay. Well, here's another question. Where did you wake up? Can you tell us and not go there yet?
Sure. I woke up on Fremont Street.
Okay. Perfect.
We know where Fremont Street is.
Fremont Street was a main drag in Monterey Bay, where they would occasionally have classical cars come through. You're not sure what it's like 100 years or so into the future, 100 plus years.
Isn't that where the night market was on the first Friday?
It was where the night market was on that first Friday.
Where did you fall asleep? What place name?
By the way, I'm not here anymore. Turk isn't. He's gone, and so if anybody's not going to say anything, he's walking towards his room. Well, kind of at a sprint.
I fell asleep in the nest.
What's the nest?
The nest is where you go. If you don't have a place to go.
Okay.
What street is the nest located on?
It isn't. It's under ground.
Is
Okay.
it common, maybe, for people like you to be taken and have things come to them without their knowledge?
Yeah, but mostly it happens with organics. People who can't afford to protect themselves. That's what I do. I realize that I can protect some of the organics in the nest. It's how I spend my days now.
And what was taking the organics?
Other organics that wanted new parts.
Oh my goodness. Bob, that's terrible.
It's pretty gruesome. Unfortunately, I've had my sadness chip taken out, so I can't feel it. Otherwise, this would be a terrible day. Sometimes I would cry at night.
I think we all do that sometimes, Bob. It's okay.
Yeah. Anyway. So about the bomb, can we work on this?
We're trying already. We're doing what I think we can in the moment. None of us are really good with bombs.
Okay. Well, it's lucky I found you all.
How did you get here?
Oh, I walked.
Across the water?
No, underneath it.
Oh, right.
I'm a tourism bot. Say cheese. And Bob gives a little flash, and sure enough, there is a camera that there's a small flash that emits forth from his eyes, and you see a picture of the 1, 2, 3, 4 of you that flash across his eyes. He goes, I can also set up pictures with some of the wildlife.
Real quick, Bob. Why would anybody want to put a bomb on you?
It's a great question.
You said you protect the people in the nest. Is the nest a risky area to be in?
Oh,
or are
yes.
other people looking to get rid of the nest?
Well, there are individuals that want to get rid of the nest because, quote unquote, it takes up space, valuable space.
But it's underground.
Yes, But as more space runs out above ground, people are starting to move closer. There is also a criminal aspect that is looking to move guns and other biochemical things underground. But the nest takes up a lot of space. And we have put our foot down in terms of moving these things through the area. The reason I walked in the water is better to die in the water than in the nest. Then I walked onto the island.
Follow-up question. Who do you most often defend the nest from?
Oh, it is a tie between those that are looking to salvage for parts and those that are looking to use the area to store illegal materials and substances.
All right, guys, those are your two starting areas. Pick.
So we need to protect the people of the nest, but we also need to figure out how to defuse this bomb. But none of us really have the skills to defuse a bomb.
That would be ideal.
Well, one of those two factions is what I'm saying. One of those two factions is the cause. So there would be your possible two areas narrowed down.
Who was the last one you defended the nest from?
Calculating. The last person I defended the nest from was a group of individuals called the Matthews.
Can you tell us about the Matthews?
The Matthews were being mean to a little one. I took her away and brought her to the nest. The Matthews became very angry and irate with me. They wanted Roach.
Is the little one that you helped an organic?
Yes, Roach is very much an organic and gross.
What?
Roach is a person or an insect?
Depends.
Yes.
On the day. I think she is human, but she has never bathed, so it is hard to tell.
Got it.
Oof. Go butts.
Her middle name is Suki.
Now is go ahead.
No, so since we don't have a lot of experience with diffusing bombs, do you, with knowledge of this area, know of someone whose aid we could enlist to get this bomb diffused a little bit more safely?
Give me, Texas, a persuasion check.
Wow. Well, I'm really good at persuasion, but not when I roll 4 on it.
If anybody would like to help Texas here, I will let you take this roll at advantage.
Well, depending on when I get back.
I would assist.
Yay! Thank you.
You're
I rolled
hustling.
another 4, but at least it's a 15 because I've got a plus 11.
You are hustling those little legs, big guy. And I would say you come back in, but by the time you come back, you are just...
Which doesn't matter because I'm going to investigate the other shore while you guys figure and I'm...
No, get back here, little guy. You're going to need to be with the group on this.
Scouting, what I do, Ranger.
Not necessary. Come back. We need to.
I go into the water and start paddling out.
You will be penalized. You know this.
Love you.
15, Indigo?
Yep.
You watch as Bob, his eyes alight, and before you stands a holographic display of an individual. First off, you see Roach. Roach is Bob has described her well. She is humanoid in feature, but she is ragged looking. She's this little thing that's got like hair covering her eyes and she's got this like permanent like scowl on her face. However, strapped to her side are any mishmash of like, it looks like little mechanical like tools, wrenches, little things. It looks like this girl's lived in the ventilation system. Think the girl from Aliens, Newt.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
You're
So
not here to hear this, buddy.
I know. I'm just nodding because
Who's in charge of the nest?
we are all taking turns in charge of the nest, but the one that is most in charge is EV003 or Evo, but you're not supposed to call her that.
You said EV what?
EV003.
Thank you.
Are there more organics or people like you? What do you call yourselves?
Oh, we
guess
are
bots?
constructs
Construct.
or others. This is Evo.
Okay, I'm scared.
So I'm sorry, I missed a little tiny bit of that. So the EV003 is the one that you think has the best chance of diffusing a bomb?
Oh,
No, she's the one in charge.
calculated.
He's the one in charge. Got
The
it.
one who is most in charge, but they take turns being in charge is the paraphrase.
Evie, we go to when we have questions.
Now, is
Sounds like that's our first step. We have
Is-
questions.
Evo an organic or a construct other?
No, she is too smart for that.
What?
However, the Earth has graced her with some of its essence. She reminds me of Kiara in a funny way.
Hey, Bob.
Yes.
This is the future. Is magic here?
Yes, there is magic here.
Yeah? Like what?
What do you mean?
I don't know. You said that person reminds you of Kiara.
There was a great war that took place here not too long ago, 50 or 60 years ago, between the magics and the techs. The techs coveted the power that the magics held and created weapons that would mimic those effects. Using nanobot technology, they were able to replicate the uses of some spells or cantrips. The war was fought for a while until both sides came to a standstill. The magics relegated mostly to organics or first generation organics, and the techs relegated to those with more money that could replicate these endeavors. Then there is a special class, those organics that saw that they were going to die, and instead imbued certain techs with magical abilities as their final gift to the world around them.
That's really scary. Okay, well, we need to figure out how to defuse a bomb.
It is terrifying. Many died.
What year is it, Bob?
What
year is it?
The year is 2123.
What?
2123.
Okay. Do you have Wi-Fi here?
What is Wi-Fi?
It's kind of like information in the air.
Oh, yes, we have that. You just ask for it. You are separated from the area, so you will need companions or familiars in order to access that information.
What do you mean?
I will show you. Can we make our way to the island? I don't wish to press, but bomb.
Yes. Is the boat at the end of the dock?
There is indeed a boat at the end of the dock. While you are there, as you all turn and look about the space, Turk, you've made your way to the opposite end of the island to catch a little bit of choice waivage. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Turk, it's nice, man. You have a bit of a blast. You don't know any of the information that was just shared here.
Nope.
But go ahead and on your next acrobatic or athletics check, you are Zen. You are one with the universe. You may take that next acrobatics or athletics check at advantage.
Awesome.
And hopefully that will make up for you not, knowing anything that's going on.
Am I doing this check now?
No.
No, the next
hold on
time
to that.
that
Next
I-
time you make
yeah,
any sort of check
okay.
like that. Yes. As you all look about, there is a boat at the dock, and you see Mordrew standing aside it, and he's actually like looking at the boat and making sure that it is ready to go. And setting you off. He's actually putting a small container of supplies inside the boat.
I may be missing something obvious here, but wouldn't it make sense that somebody on this island might be able to defuse the bomb a little bit more or faster? Or
We've already got one of the team and our new member.
Should I walk further into the island and let them know that I have a nuclear bomb on me?
No. You're good here. We got you.
All right, so we'll just head out right now. Okay.
Yeah, because there's already 2 people working on the island on it. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Bob nods his head. May I have all of your names, please?
Texas, right here.
Texas, right here.
Yep.
I'm Cass, Bob.
Cass, Bob.
Oh.
William.
Kiara.
Very well. Let us make our way to your boat. Is this your boat?
Sure.
Yep. You all make your way towards the dock. There is a sharp whistle as Wolf looks about the space, and you hear the telepathic bond of like, we should call it in. Let's call it a day.
What?
They're leaving. They're getting on the
Okay.
boat. And Wolf is just running around in circles. Like, he's just running around in circles, like running around the sail. Keeps looking back the way you guys have come. And then as soon as you go, okay, Wolf takes off.
And Mordrew's still standing at the boat.
Mordrew is standing at the boat.
Are there any nuclear bomb diffusion supplies in that supply kit?
Give me an investigation check.
Oh no, that was a question to Mordrew.
Oh, okay.
I will look, but that was a question.
Sure. As you come around the dock, Mordrew is looking off into the distance. And he still has that familiar scowl on his face. But looks at you, William, and says, "This is a golden opportunity. I don't know why we're here, but this could be good."
We can inform you why we're here, Sassy Pants, if you'd like to know.
How is a bomb good?
With "how is a bomb good," he turns to look at Cass, and then thinks about it for a second, and then turns and looks back at Bob. And Bob smiles and says, "I'm a bomb."
New BFF.
Mordrew nods. I hope you all know what you're doing.
Absolutely not. Where's the fun in that?
I went to school for bomb things and stuff. Yeah, we know what
I will
we're
talk
doing.
to the artificer.
You should get on the boat.
Should you all make it back from this in one piece, there will be tokens waiting for you.
Oh, fantastic! The machine is real fun.
And he nods and looks off in the distance again. Turk coming running up, wearing
Hey,
some...
hey, Marju, can you take this back to the library for me? Thanks, I appreciate it.
And just shoved into his hand.
Drops it right on the ground and walks away.
No, I put it in his hands, man.
Yeah, as soon as you get on the boat, as the boat's taking off, he drops it on the ground and walks away. You are all on the boat, headed towards Monterey Bay, the futuristic wonder that is Monterey Bay. As the boat leaves the shore and some of the fog begins to dissipate, once again, all of you feel the small tug that you go through when you pass through the small membrane that separates the island from the rest of the world. This membrane is a way to disguise your clothes and yourself, should you so choose, when you are going into a new place. However, because of the situation, and you've been given as much information as you've asked for, I need you all to make a choice for me. It's not something that I'm always going to do, but for this particular case, I'm going to. Would you like to, as you pass through this small magical membrane into a disguise that you can wear among your person, would you like to appear as organic or inorganic?
Do we get the choice of looks between
You
the
did.
categories? Like,
you did. You'll have somewhat control over what you look like, your will manifesting upon you. But Bob has somewhat established that this society works a little differently. In terms of, like, if you're organic, you're somewhat affluent. You will be mistaken for somebody that has the means to support themselves being organic. Or you could be organic and be looked at as one of those generations that's like, you don't have the money, and occasionally you will sell blood or hair or little scrapings of DNA in order to make it by and make a little bit of money. Or you could be a functioning member of society as an inorganic. You have a job, you serve a purpose. You may have once been a human at a given time and just gradually gave up more parts of yourself to live in this world. So it is a choice that will dictate how the next 72 hours go. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You don't all have to make the same choice if some of you want
Right.
to adopt certain things. Some of you that have access to magics that allow you to change your appearance could start off as one naturally and change and go from there.
I think it's probably best if we take different appearances in order to move between the casts easily and more efficiently and with less eyes on us.
Turk has gone through enough changes lately. He's going with organic, thinking that
Okay.
hopefully.
What would you like Wolf to be?
Oh, he's definitely going to be a construct.
Yes. As he passes through, you see before you a robotic version of him, his white metal gleaming in the noonday sun. William.
Looking good, buddy.
I'd like to look like a Cade unit, 2 3/4.
Done. Okay. Do you want to send me a reference picture?
Oh,
You may have
you got that
you
one
may have
already.
asked for
Oh
the picture
man.
already.
All right.
Evie would also like to be a tech.
Kiara?
Kiara would like to be a tech. Yes.
Yes.
Sorry.
Understood. Cass?
I've always wanted to be a robot.
Tech?
We're going construct. For me.
Construct, okay. And Texas?
Well, then with everybody, well, no, Turk is staying organic. I'll stay organic too, so he's not the only one, but I also have the ability to look like a construct if I need to.
You do, so you're going to have a little bit more leeway in this event, which is going to help because you will be able to float between the caste systems a little bit easier. Bob is a reference point for you all. As far as I'm concerned, he's a member of the party. You don't have to worry about him until you do. But he's gonna follow you guys and make his way.
Yeah, I can also disguise self.
Sure. The next question I need to ask of all of you is, as the boat makes its way to the shore, the area that Bob described to you all was this dystopian, weird society of organics and mechs and constructs all fighting against one another. That's not the scene you're greeted to. And as most often not, in places like this, it hides below the surface, both literally and figuratively here from Monterey Bay. As you make your way to the beach, you're greeted to an idyllic scene. Children play on the beach as you see a construct looking after them, saying like, now slow down, children, don't go too far. And you see each one of them running about the space. There are food vendors that seem to travel about, powered by solar energy, that are dispensing various foods, fresh water that seems to come from the construct's hands. And you see and look in their center console, which is this like sort of forming mass of plant material and things of that sort. The scene you're greeted to as you come to the beach is picturesque. I'm not sure of any other way to describe it.
Are we seeing an exchange of money or anything of that nature with these vendors?
Tell you what, depending on which one you choose, everybody either give me a perception or investigation check. If there's something specifically you're looking for, like Turk, immediately your eyes are granted to look for any sort of means of money or things of that sort. So give me a perception or investigation, Turk. Take this at, I think you're having Wolf look around for you as well.
Correct.
Yeah, so take this at advantage, and I'll let Wolf just count as with yours.
Okay.
I'll just do a general perception check.
General perception? Got it.
I rolled an 8 and a 3,
Yeah.
but that gives me a 17 in perception.
Oh, see? Okay. Yeah, buddy, you're not...
Excuse me, a 15 in perception.
You're not seeing any sort of exchange of hard coin, which doesn't surprise you at all. If you saw where the puck was going with scan your card here and insert your card here. You do notice during these transactions that some of them will wave their hand in front of a vendor, and the vendor will pause briefly and then just sort of smile and nod their head. Others, like some of the children, don't do any such thing. They just run forward to where some of the vendors are, grab the food, and go running off into the distance. Each of them flanked by a small animal. I say like a small animal, like a little robotic toad is following one, and a little rat is following the other. And they're just sort of either in the pocket or hopping along after them. William, what was your general perception check?
16 total.
16 total. At one point, you are surveying this area, and like I said, there's lots of individuals. At one point, you do see an individual, because I think as a rogue, you are predispositioned to sort of pay attention to the outskirts of stuff. You see an individual that is walking about the space that is wearing the... it is a 50s policeman's getup. It is not a modern-day policeman's getup. It is a, well, hey there, neighbor, how are you? Like, great to see you. Come on in. Like, and he's got a nightstick, and he's just sort of twirling the nightstick, almost as if you were watching an old show about the 50s, and there happened to be like a I forget what they're called, like a Bobby cop or something like that, like a cop on the beat. But he's walking about the space and sort of nods and tips his hat to people. Doesn't look like he's sweating at all, but he's just walking about the space along the beach.
Can I elbow Bob and see if that's something that's normal or out of the ordinary?
You elbow Bob, and he sort of turns to you and smiles. You have elbowed me in the side.
Yes, so the 50s looking cop, the 1950s looking cop, is that a normal
that
get up around?
That is a beat cop. many studies were done to see what police officer type would less frighten people. And so we have beat cops. Beat cops wander the streets. They all look alike, and they uphold the law.
Wouldn't they want to know about the bomb?
Oh, well, probably. But they are also more than likely to just disintegrate me from a very safe distance. I would prefer that not happen, but I'll go off your expertise here.
Well, let's be honest, Bob. If we can't defuse you in time, wouldn't it be better if they defused you in time?
As somebody who was walking to their death and demise in the middle of the ocean, probably.
But you would have put all the ecological systems in danger, would you?
That is true. I will turn myself in to the Bobby Cop.
But it seems like there's a bigger problem, so we're going to need you for a little while because there's some reason they put the bomb on you. But we need to have a plan B.
Yes.
Bob.
A plan B, Bob. Got it. Wink. Ting. Kiara, Cass, and Texas. What are you looking for?
I'm looking for any. I'm observing the people and the constructs, the organics and the constructs, because I'm trying to get a little bit more information about kind of the hierarchy of everything. If there are different hierarchies of organics, if there are different hierarchies of constructs, kind of where everybody falls in the social order.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's probably a perception, right?
Yeah, I would say.
The die that rolled a 4 and a 4 before finally rolled a 17, so that's a 19.
Oh, dude. Okay. So, yeah, there is a caste system. You're not sure how to determine what it is because everybody seems to be walking about on sort of even ground until you notice something odd. One of the little girl is playing in the water. That's there with the construct. And as she gets close to the water at one point, she dips her toe in the water and she steps on something. She screams out in pain. She stepped on a piece of coral. It happens. Kids like run through the beach and stuff like that, and she steps on coral. As she screams out in pain, there is a cloud that manifest from underneath the sand. Little tiny motes of nanobots all rise up immediately and swarm the girl's foot. First, they go over to where her head is. They push her hair back, and you see the girl not even paying attention to this, just sort of grabbing at her foot, and you see a barcode on the back of her neck. The barcode is scanned. Then the nanobots begin to immediately heal the foot. You give me an arcana check, Texas.
13. 14.
It's Cure Wounds, level 1.
So
it's not just, there's something about the mark on the back of the neck. I don't know if Texas would understand the makings of a barcode or something along those lines, but something about they didn't act until they scanned the back of the neck and then they jumped into action.
Okay.
As that's the case, the woman on the beach, the construct on the beach, did not jump up. She did not run forward when the little girl screamed out in pain. She stood her ground and did not move to do anything. After the
As if she expected something to be done for the little girl.
Possibly, Turk. Yes.
So this is more of a getting more of the feeling that the constructs are kind of in charge and humans are useful, and we need to keep them.
Yeah, kind of.
Keep them well maintained.
Not
they're nanobots that keep them well maintained.
Imagine somewhere between the lines of being like a human. If you were a human, you're somewhere along the lines of being a novelty and a priceless possession.
Okay. Thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yes. what is the ratio that we're seeing of like humans to constructs on this beach area?
70-30 constructs to humans. Hybrids, I'm including in the construct thing. Hybrids, human faces, metallic bodies. A left arm that is composed of skin, a metallic face, and a lower torso that is skin. I'm including when I say constructs.
Okay.
From here on in, when I say organics, this is a fully organic skin. Like from what you can see, they look human.
Are the hybrids self-modified? Like they're adapting for situational things? Like is that the?
It's hard.
Were they original humans or?
It's hard to tell. You don't see a guy walking around that's like, I'm trying to think. Battle Alita. You don't see people that have like grossly exaggerated human features. The ones that you see that are hybrids or constructs, all of them look to be built as if to imitate humanity. Like nothing, so far on this beach, nothing looks like it's grossly, this is an underwater bot, or this guy was designed to be a brick, like, shithouse. Like, this, what you can see from right now, it's, man, we miss being human.
Okay, so for perception on my end, it's going to be if there's anything in the air. Or maybe that's investigation, but
To find anything in the air.
Yeah, any kind of constructs that are flighted.
Sure.
Do you want perception or investigation on that? Because it's kind of broad.
It is kind of broad. I would take either. Investigation, you'd probably be like getting in the nitty gritty of it. Perception, you're just kind of like scanning the entire area.
All right, I'm not climbing trees. 7.
You see distant shapes. So I would say you guys spent enough time at the beach before that. How about this? Sometimes the absence of information is something powerful. You don't see any drones. You remember being annoyed by going to the beach and seeing these like guys that would just do the drones around and they'd fly and they'd take pictures and stuff. And you kind of always imagine that the future would hold that. Like, it's not there. Like there's not that buzz. There's no cameras or anything like that seem to be flying around.
Are there organic flight, like birds and stuff like that?
No wildlife.
What? Okay.
Hey Bob, how far away is EVO3?
She is not too far. We will have to head underground.
I think we should get there as quickly as possible.
Sure. Kiara kind of scans the area too. You looking for anything in particular as you make your way?
I was actually looking for like obviously we can see like the Bobby Cop, all that fun stuff. But are there like, I guess I'm trying to determine the area in general where we landed on the beach. Like, is this a good area? Like, do I see cameras?
I'm not even gonna make you roll for this. Welcome to Disney World. This is a touristy. Like at one point one of the kids takes a piece of trash and like eats their candy bar and ice cream cone and throws the trash. It's there in the sand for a second and then it's just not there as it's slowly dissolved.
Again, then we've already talked about no animals, but as someone who's kind of like into nature, does this feel natural to me?
No.
Not at all.
This feels like something that was made to look natural. This
like
seems like
simulation.
Kinda. The
When we
sands.
were coming over, were there fish in the water?
There were. Bob attracted them to him. He opened up his little console and fed the fish as you were coming in. Give me a nature check, Yara.
Okay. I think that's like the one druid skill that I didn't take a proficiency in, but let's find out. Yeah, +0, 19.
It's not a simulation. The sun's out. I mean, Turk was surfing not too far off the coast. Like, the sun is out, like you feel a small breeze, but something about it just feels like it's too perfect. You're watching a sitcom about people going to the beach. You're not at the beach.
Are there people surfing right now?
There are people surfing.
Do they look more organic or more construct?
You'd see a mishmash at this point.
Okay.
You'd see individuals.
That's still a staple.
Yeah, you'd see individuals that are standing on their boards, but you see individuals where their legs seem to end in a board. But a lot of them seem to be organic, and once again, they are being flanked, or there is a group of individuals surfing not too far away from them.
And everyone seems to have a small construct following them?
About that. As you walk further along, and you do notice, if you see an organic individual, they are not without a construct or a familiar. And some of you realize that it is as if they have, it's as if the spell has been cast upon them. Each construct takes along a certain aspect. You see an owl, you see a rat, you see a frog, you see a weasel, you see all of these small animals that are definitely constructs that are working as middle ground. At one point, one of the organics, it's an older woman, very affluent, is walking along, and she says, "I would like to eat somewhere that overlooks the ocean, please." And her small cat will jump in front of her and say, "There is a reservation that is being made." And she goes, "Thank you, Butters." And she pets the cat, and the cat goes back to being at her side, walking alongside of her.
Horrified. I'm absolutely horrified.
Yep.
Okay.
So when the constructs of those of us who have chosen to become constructs, we didn't really say what we were going to look like, but I feel like we probably ought to pick these little familiar shapes and sizes.
You don't have to pick a familiar shape and size. You realize that the intelligence of these familiars, this is your... I'm going off on a lot of faith here. Your construct, your familiar, is your go-to between the world around you. This is Google.
Like your HUD.
This is HUD. This is your cell phone. This is your connection to technology. Gotcha. So the only ones that need to worry about it are, that question is taken out of as Turk looks down and see that he's already created his. As Wolf begins to follow suit, he does not get any strange looks. The only one that's getting strange looks is Texas. As Bob notices finally, turns to her and say, "Do you have an animal that you would prefer?"
You mean one of those little robot animals?
Yes. You need one, or you're going to stick out like someone who doesn't have one.
Well, just something that won't stand out. I mean, maybe a bird of some sort.
A bird.
It seems useful because it could fly off and fly back, and you know.
Yes. Okay. Bob will head over to a small bin that's tucked away as he continues to walk you guys past the beach, past the teeming people who sort of nod at you politely. Everybody seems to have nothing but smiles for you all. Bob leads you over to a small bin, Texas, and as he does, he pushes the bin back and begins to rummage inside of it. Inside the bin are any number of mechanical creatures and things of that sort. He digs through and looks for one, stops, and takes out this small collection of parts. He looks at the parts and looks over at you, Texas, and you see him, his hand changes, it flips down, and as it comes back up, you see that the fingers have all been replaced with the facsimile of tinkerer's tools. He begins to work on the small collection of parts until sitting there is a very ugly, scrumbled together as much as Bob is, little tiny dwarf owl. It's right there, and Bob's last piece is there is a bit of circuitry that is covered on the top of that is uncovered on the top of that, little bits of wire. He pushes all the wires back and takes a small cowboy hat and puts it on and twists it, and as he twists it, the eyes light up. And you just hear this like, whoo, whoo. And this little tiny owl jumps off his hand and is unable to fly. And so he takes it, picks it up, and puts it on your shoulder, Texas.
Aw. Wait, it can't fly?
No. It's a little heavy, but maybe we can bring it to Eve, and she might be able to do something. She's always been better about this. Even Roach is good at making things.
Aw, well, thank you very much.
You are very welcome. It's garbage.
I love you.
I don't think it's garbage, but thanks.
Shall we go?
Quickly.
Sure. Yes.
You are led down the bustling streets, and it's got to be a surreal experience. This is the first time I think you all have been back since that fateful night with Gary. And as much as things change, the good news is, because this is a tourist destination, people love nostalgia. You see vintage diners set all the way back in the year 2012. You see kids running down the street and looking over at a small TV, and they're like, "What's Facebook? That's for babies!" And they go over and they're just kind of like looking at the vintage booths and things that are set up. There's an old-fashioned farmers market, which you all remember was there every Saturday morning. But instead of organics running these stalls, it's constructs who sell what looks to be fresh vegetables, jams and preserves. A classic car goes driving by, and then the same classic car another 10 minutes later goes driving by. And all of the constructs wave as if it's well-timed. You are led down Fremont Street, and then things start to change a little bit. It's still pretty, but you notice a little bit more trash on the ground. You notice that the further you walk down Fremont Street away from the bustling farmers market, the organics become less and less noticeable. You do see more constructs and more hybrids, but as you begin to walk down this area, you see a housing district. You see people dressed in bright colored clothing that seem to be walking from their homes towards the bustling shops, the beach towns. Maybe they're headed off to work. Bob leads you to a small alleyway that's tucked between these two massive buildings that seem to be housing lots of individuals. Bob walks in between the two buildings, pushing aside a cardboard box that it looks like it's been used as a makeshift door. And he pushes it off to the side, leading you in between these two buildings. All 5 of you are greeted to the sight of a pile of rags at the far end of this alleyway. This pile of rags is rising and falling and rising and falling.
As if it's breathing, is that what?
As if it's breathing. And Bob walks over to the pile of rags and reaches into his chest again. And as he does, he pulls out what looks to be a shiny red apple. And he places it down next to the pile of rags. Wake up, sleepyhead. You need to eat your fruits and vegetables because that's healthy or you'll die. you see a small hand reach out from the rags and grab the apple and just bring it into the mass of clothing and just start to devour this small apple.
Hello?
William says roach and Texas says hello. Sure enough, as soon as the apple has been devoured completely, you see blackened fingers take the apple core and drop it out, and a head looks up like this. The hair is still covering the face a little bit, and you'd see two brown eyes that are just caked in dirt. Look up from the pile of rags and just sort of like look at the group.
Hi, my name's Texas. Are you Roach?
My name's Texas. Are you Roach?
That was funny.
I'll take 2 of her, one now and one for later.
Who are you guys?
I just told you I'm Texas.
Your name is Texas?
Yeah.
Like the place?
No, like my name.
Who is that? Arkansas?
What are you, a bug?
Yes.
Then you won't mind if I clean you off a little, and I'm going to cast prestidigitation. It's 1 cubic foot, so at least I can get her head.
You cast prestidigitation, and you see a little bit of the dirt leave her. With that, she looks at her face. Does a 16 hit your AC?
Yes.
Yes, it does.
She says, Mama didn't like that. And as she says that, Texas, starting from where your feet are, the ground sinks a little bit. As you realize you have not been standing on solid ground this whole time. And you are sneak attacked by the veritable army of robotic cockroaches at Roach's beck and call. As these little group of roaches sneak up towards where you are standing. She's going to take it easy on you. She is going to do 11 points of sneak attack damage as the roaches swarm over you and take little bites. You all see that they are not constructs, but they are painted to look as such. As they swarm over Texas, you see this little bit of silver and stuff like that. And then Roach gives a small little click at something at her side, and the roaches go back to where they were.
That's pretty neat, Roach.
I don't like.
How'd you learn that?
You don't like what?
I didn't have anybody, and they didn't have anybody either.
Oh, that's pretty smart. You're a smart little one, aren't you?
Evie taught me. You can talk.
That's an awesome thing, though.
Apparently, in the old days, people could talk to bugs and animals.
Thanks for taking it easy on us.
I can.
You can talk to bugs and animals?
Yes. I can turn into one too.
You better not do that here.
All right. We're here to help.
She walks over to where Texas is, and she's a little bit taller than her. You want a kid?
No.
You fight like one.
Well, I take offense to that.
She laughs. She looks over at Cass and sees the pink hair. She looks over at Turk and sees the dog. She looks over at Bob says, "You trust them?" And Bob goes, "No. We just met. But they are kind individuals." She nods her head. Okay.
Hey, Roach. We just met all of you, but is it safe here? Like, can I make her feel better and not get in trouble?
She looks at you and she doesn't understand the question. Can you make her feel
Is
better?
anybody watching?
No. Why would they?
I don't know this place. We're new in town.
She will look at her and then look over at Bob, and she'll click the clicker again. The roaches, immediately, everybody sinks a little bit as the roaches go alongside the walls and form a canopy overhead. Do you know what I mean? Like if there was something flying up, and you just you see the skittering as this little thing of water as Roach just sort of sits there like that. She's like, "All right, now nobody can see you."
Okay. And Cass is gonna dig in her backpack and pull out some lollipops, honey lollipops that happen to be in her bag. And hand her one, and then cast Cure Wounds on Texas.
Okay. Who do you hand the lollipop to?
Roach.
Okay.
5.
Thank you.
Sorry.
You have to protect yourself. We're not mad.
All right.
Also, we're here to help, so maybe that's a peace offering. Because candy's good, and all kids like candy, because candy's magical.
She takes the lollipop, and then she takes a lick of it, and she goes, "That's fine, but I got people to take care of." And after she takes a couple of licks of the lollipop, she walks over to the corner of the alleyway and opens up this grate that's at the far end. When she does, she takes the lollipop and just flicks it over her shoulder. As it does, the canopy breaks and all of the roaches surround the lollipop. Every ounce of sugar, every ounce of stick that was their organic material, as Roach opens this grate and leads you all towards it, this lollipop is consumed. It's piranha. It's feeding frenzy. And Bob looks over at that and he goes, "That is terrifying."
I love Bob.
Is there any grime on the grate as we're moving past it? Or?
Yeah. I mean, a little bit, a tiny bit. It's hard to tell.
I'm gonna swipe my hand across it.
Okay.
Pick up some grime on my hand.
Okay.
And then as I walk by, I'm just gonna kind of pat Roach on the head a little.
You're gonna pat Roach?
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw this meme yesterday. It doesn't end well for you.
All right. you
try to rub a little bit of the grime onto her.
Sure. Give me animal handling check, please.
Oh, good. That's +6.
Like all the greatest characters I've ever created, this is the love child of Indigo Chameleon. She created Roach way back in the day for a post-apocalyptic game, and I have reappropriated her, and hopefully a pleasant surprise.
16?
Okay. 16. Yeah. You don't lose a finger as you touch the top of her head, but you do get a little cockroach hiss as you touch her head, but she seems to take some of the grime that you put on her and like smooth out some of the spots that may have been cleaned.
Listen, did you want to be dirty again? Because I can take care of it. I can fix it the other way. I just didn't realize there was a reason for this, and I thought I was helping.
Anybody wearing metal? Does anybody have metal? No, because you're wearing
As
disguises
constructs,
and stuff like that.
what would we be made of?
Yeah. She Texas, give me an insight check.
Okay.
As you go, listen, if you want to be dirty, I can make you dirty and it'll be fine.
That's a 21.
Roach is just looking at your hair. She doesn't answer you as if to put the grime back on, but you realize that this is a girl that has never had anybody teach her to be feminine. She may not even know she can look like a girl. But you do see the first bit of longing as she is like, she touches the patch of skin that is a little clean, and just spends time staring at your hair.
Can I have perception on this interaction?
You can give me an insight check as well.
Yeah.
Right now, it's just a really quick, like, Roach still has the hair covered, like, she's still got that creepy, like, the hair's covering her eyes, but she's kind of staring at Texas's hair.
16.
Yeah, you notice the same thing. This girl's never had any sort of. She's not looking to get it done now, but if this was a Telltale game, it would be Roach remembers this.
Has remembered this.
Yeah. She says, "All right, go." And she points to the grate.
Okay. Are you coming with us?
Yeah, I'll be right behind you guys.
Okay.
There's a few kids that are working. I need to make sure they get in before I go in.
All right. I guess we'll see you soon enough.
You won't, but I'll see you.
Rogues, man. Before Kiara goes in, she's just gonna prestidigitate a buttercup and hand it to Roach and then go in.
What is this?
It's a flower. It smells pretty good.
Do you eat it?
Not really. But I mean, you can, but not really.
She eats it.
It's fair.
Yep. Kiara heads in. Turk?
I would probably hang back until everybody else has entered.
Yeah. Taking the back. William.
I thought I was already moving in when I grabbed the grease on the...
You guys look back and William's gone. Texas, Cass.
Got a place to be.
Bob will wait for you, Turk. And he goes,
I'm assuming we're headed to the nest is where we're going right now?
Yes, you are. Fingers crossed you do not die.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
They can
After
be
you, my friend.
Yeah, they can be a little weary of outsiders, and you all are definitely outsiders.
Yes.
All right, so Bob, are you leading the way?
Texas, you kind of poke your head up, and Bob's like, "Yeah, let's go." And Bob will go into the grate. Turk, you follow behind, closing it behind you. The last image you see is Roach, who has the little stem of the flower, and as she turns to look, and as you're lifting the grate down, Roach stands there with the stem, and then she is just engulfed in roaches. Like she is like head to toe, all over the face, like all just crawling all over her, like and shrouding her until the roaches all go in, and then they disperse, and she is gone.
And she's gone.
On the way to where we're going, I am keeping an eye out for any piece of metal, around this big, and I'm going to try prestidigitation on it. Basically, I'm looking for essentially a mirror.
Okay.
Something that I can use as a mirror.
Yeah.
But I'm going to test it just because it's going to be dirty, but if I can clean it to where it's got a shiny enough reflective surface, I'll just pocket it.
Welcome to the nest. As you go through, you imagine, all of you, that this is similar to some of the modules that Gary ran you through. At first, Bob walks over to a small torch sconce that is off to the side, and he takes this torch from the wall and begins to walk you down a circular area. All you hear is the faint dripping of water. You occasionally will see a roach or a bug flitter across your path, but for the first 5 minutes of the walk, there is no there is no other sounds. There's no sounds of life. There's no signs of life until you get to a door. The door is composed of what looks to be like slats of metal, and it's been heavily graffitied. And somebody in bright green letters has written the words, "Abandon all hope, ye who enter here."
How's the handwriting?
Cryptic. I mean, it's not neat. It just looks like this is something you might find in a haunted house at Halloween Horror Nights.
So crappy handwriting. Got it.
Crappy handwriting.
Spray paint?
Spray paint.
Well, that's not ominous at all.
I mean, we're walking in here with a nuclear bomb. What could be more ominous than that?
You got me on
She's
that.
speaking of me.
You guys did see the roaches, right? That was.
You guys didn't see what I saw when we came in here. When Roach was engulfed with. They covered her, then she was gone, guys.
Texas. You're keeping.
Yes.
You're looking around.
Yes.
There is a collection of stuff near the front of this door. I say collection of stuff. You see a few bones. You see some discarded clothing. You see that what looks to be mechanical parts. You do find a piece of metal that could work, but it is scorch marked from here and back.
Okay. Prestidigitation on it. Can I get it clean enough to be reflective?
It's going to take a little bit of time, but you start the
Okay.
process. As you do, a small circular camera that you might find that's like a GoPro or something like like sticks its head out of the part where it says "Abandon all hope." The O in hope. This opens up and a small circular ball comes out. It sort of scans about the space, and you see 2 guns drop down from the ceiling in front of the door. And
Multipass?
And then Bob sticks his head in front of the door and he goes, "Hello, it is me, Bob. Most of you do not like me." And the camera like sort of shakes a little bit and then is pulled back in. And the guns retracted to the ceiling. And the door begins to open. The atmosphere changes almost immediately. The sounds of life can be heard all throughout the space. The sterile atmosphere, but bright and welcoming of the beach scene that is literally feet above your head is replaced instead with something that looks to be a scene from Hook that was left on the cutting room floor. Welcome to the largest skate park / Burning Man that you have ever been in your entire life. The sounds of music echo throughout the space. You hear doon 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 when I come around as somebody is just like jamming on a guitar and singing along, and people are walking this area. The smell of fresh baked bread and meat. People are yelling at each other, but it's the arguments that happen if you've ever walked around New York City. It's this conversation that's almost a dialect with the yelling that's taking place. Organics are running around, and it's hard to see, but the constructs that are there are not clean, are scrumbled together a lot like Bob, and look to be all made from different parts that have been mishmashed together. No one down here has any sort of clean bit of clothing or outfit that looks like it matches together. Everything looks to be as if it was handmade or found. Bob sweeps his arms outward and he says, "Welcome to the nest, where all are welcome until they learn how to fly." You see this arm sweep outward, and as it does, people don't pay any mind to you. They go about their life and move about the space. William was the first one in. So William is the first one to see his dad. In the town square, in a large gathering place that seems to be at the central point, William's eyes go a little glossy, and tears start welling up as Gary, in bronzed glory, is standing upon a pedestal in the middle of the space. He's wearing a Hawaiian shirt that is an actual Hawaiian shirt over the statue. It looks to be as if it was lovingly put upon him. And he's holding books. The statue is actually holding physical copies of what you can identify as the Dungeon Master's Guide and the Monster's Manual. And as William looks out over the crowd and sees this statue at the center of the area, his eyes dart down to 3 or 4 sets of children that are like, all right, so when you walk in, you got to make a stealth check, because like if you're not making a stealth check, then how are you going to get past the ogres? And then you see another group of like small kids that are like, yeah, but I don't know what that squiggly thing means. And you see somebody go, you're an idiot. That's a 4. I'll teach you how to do math. And it's just this like small collection of kids that are gathered around this statue of Gary.
Do any of these groups look like they have a DM for their group, or are they all just like
no
playing back? So there's none of them have a DM type.
They're all walking about the space, and you realize that like if you needed to escape, like, and you lived underground.
Did Bob catch up yet?
Yeah, Bob's with the group and just sort of smiling about the space.
I'm gonna grab Bob by the neck area.
Hi!
What's this?
You've grabbed me by the neck. If I was
What's
a human, this would suck.
Bob.
Yes.
What is this?
This is the nest. This is a place
No.
for all.
The statue.
Oh, that is Gary. He is the founder of the nest.
Where is he?
Gary?
Yes.
He is not here. He is long dead for this world.
What?
He is long dead for this world. But he founded the nest.
So has Turk seen the statue yet?
I think you all do. William's weird. Like he's just like kind of looking down, and you see, yeah, you guys all see the statue. It's the biggest thing you see right when you walk into the area.
I think Turk would instinctively start wandering in that direction.
Sure.
And he's gonna walk towards the statue.
Dude, it's Gary. The facial, like he's wearing a Hawaiian shirt. He's got that big laugh. He's got that like beard. The bronze statue that's been constructed in his honor, like he's holding books in his hand. The kids all look up at you and they're like, you're just in the way, old man. As you're walking about the space, like one of them sees your dog and like throws a D20 at the dog, and it lands and it rolls an 18, so they all start rolling their dice off the dog in hopes that they'll get high rolls now. Like,
how did he die?
No one knows.
All right, let's get the EBO3.
Would you like to see the first nest?
No.
Okay. He looks over at Cass. You were going to say something, and then did the human thing where you pretended you weren't.
Before we came here, it was actually a friend of ours' special day, and I had something for him. And I think it might have a good place with the Gary statue. So I'm gonna be right back.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna walk over and drop a couple nickel nips at the base of the statue and walk away.
Yeah. You see various other little things. This is the Turk. I think you noticed this too, Texas and Kiara. This is a shrine. Texas, even you know who Gary is. You've done your research and know that he's a DM of the great renown, and with the way that this society sort of reveres him at this point. Turk and Cass, William has only eyes for Eve. 003 and does not walk forward, but the two of you do. And as you stand close to the statue and begin to look about it, you turn and look, and your eyes dart up to the nest, a small building, and this faded wooden sign, and it says, "Finding your home through gaming, a homeless shelter for teens." And you realize that you were able to piece together that the nest was a homeless shelter built by Gary, and that now it's just sort of turned into the nest is this whole area, but it started smaller.
Before Cass gets a chance to walk away after dropping the nipple nips, what are they called? Nickel nips?
Nickel nips.
He's gonna reach out and grab her hand and say and point out the nest to her. I think we should go check that out.
Oh wow. But he doesn't want to, and I think that's probably more important than our interest in it, because he's hurt really bad.
Who's hurt?
He really wants to get away from here. You can tell. Look at his face.
And then I'll look back at William and do we know that Gary is William's dad?
William would have shared it.
Well, there was an interaction when he came back, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
he
I
said
couldn't
it.
remember.
He said as such.
Okay.
And
I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that.
Bob walks past the children. William, you follow suit. Texas and Kiara, I imagine you do as well. And he actually walks past this statue, and as he does, he sort of waves at it, and the statue shifts a little bit in its spot and waves back. The kids don't pay any attention to this, and then it goes back to its frozen, like place, and he continues walking down this area.
As I walk by, I'll just place my hand on the pedestal as I swipe my hand.
Yeah. Yeah, the statue does not respond, but it continues to hold true, holding the books in its hand. You are taken throughout the streets of the nest. Like I said before, it's a vastly different atmosphere. It's more akin to how you guys first reacted when you landed on the island itself, seeing all the different shops and the smells of food and things of that sort. After a bit of time, you are not stealthy in the slightest at all, being followed. Individuals start following where you guys are. The first one is a guy wearing a Hawaiian shirt. It's like blue, and he just starts walking behind the group. The next is two other individuals that just start walking in front of the group. Also Hawaiian shirts. One's yellow, one's kind of a loud orange. And then pretty soon you are flanked by 6 individuals, all wearing Hawaiian shirts and different forms of pants, that are leading you and walking alongside. And Bob just sort of like smiles at everyone, so it's hard to tell if he acknowledges or not. You are led throughout these streets until you get to a small area that says veterinary clinic.
Can I incite the demeanor of the crowd?
Yeah, absolutely. Give me an insight check, William.
And are they all organics?
They are all organics. The individuals that are walking along with you, it is hard to spot any sort of constructs, but yes, the individuals currently walking alongside with you are organics.
27 total.
They are keeping a strong eye on you, man. You don't know what it is. Like they're not looking to be malicious or in any way, but you're
anyone in particular,
or
just all of us as a group.
Kiara, Turk, and Cass.
Okay.
And we've all noticed them because they're not trying to be inconspicuous.
They are not
right?
hiding. They are not hiding. Cass, Kiara, and Turk, as far as I know, Turk is organic, but he's walking around with a big wolf, correct?
Correct.
Kiara and Cass, you don't have a spot of dirt on you, correct?
Whoops. Nope.
And your constructs. Okay.
Yep.
So they're kind of eyeing you guys. Those are my
Fair.
two. Texas is Littles. She's also organic.
Have I noticed that they're kind of eyeing them, or is that something that they would let me know? Because that's something I can fix.
Absolutely. All of them have all eyes on you. Like, they're not hiding this at all. Like,
all right.
Are you?
Well,
But I mean,
because-
as
but there's a lot of people around us right now. It's probably not a good time, but
Hey,
if we can
live your truth.
what's their demeanor?
Uh,
Are they in awe? Is there like a animosity? Is there a fear? Is there
No one is carrying weapons with them. They
Not openly.
they don't look aggressive, but they do look present. Like they are there. They are not smiling. They are walking with you, and if you were an average person walking these city streets, you would be like, these guys are being escorted. But nobody has made in any sort of aggressive manner. They occasionally will shift their eyes to the side.
Are they keeping their eyes on where they're walking as well, or just on us and then walking through the crowd as they would?
They both. Occasionally they'll look at you guys and then they'll look at the crowd and just sort of. People are tending to give these guys a wide berth.
Okay.
All right.
I'm assuming they have something to do with the Order of Gary.
Sure. That's probably a safe assumption. It probably skeeves you out a little bit to see these guys walking around in Hawaiian shirts and revering your dad. Or maybe it makes you comfortable and at home. So,
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both. You are led through the bustling city streets until you get to, like I said, little shops that have been set up. It is almost as if the street just sunk into the ground and they built the other street over it. Some of the buildings might even look familiar, as they did hundreds of years ago. You do get to a small one-story building with a blue cross on the front of it that seems illuminated in the dark city, and it says veterinary clinic. And Bob walks up to the door and knocks on the door. And there is a long pause as Bob looks at the gentlemen who are standing there in the Hawaiian shirts, who just sort of are standing there, not acknowledging you all.
But circled around us.
Circled around
menacingly.
you.
Cool.
With that soft knock, there is a sound of footsteps and gentle laughing. As a individual walks forward to the door and opens it up, and the minute this construct sees Bob's face, her eyes drop a little bit as she looks confused, and then she pokes her head around the side and sees all of you, and the blue lights around her grow a little bit brighter a little bit as Evie sort of looks at all of you and looks at the men walking with you, and she goes, "Really, is this necessary? You couldn't have introduced yourselves? I'm guessing they just started walking alongside you."
Yes, but they had on the good shirt, so we didn't say anything.
They are good shirts. Come in. Come in. We've been expecting you. As she tilts her hand to the side, and you see Roach sitting on a doctor's bed, kicking her feet back and forth, drinking what looks to be warm liquid out of a cup, and the tangled mess still over her eyes. Evie turns to all of you and says, "We should probably talk about what's going on with Bob."
Yeah, there's lots of things we could talk about.
So you knew he's got a bomb on him.
Yes,
Did you send him out
I did.
to die
Yes.
for your safety?
No.
For whose safety?
And she looks back into the space again, and you just see Roach kicking her, like her legs still over the table, kicking it, and she just goes.
I didn't mean you personally. I meant you as the nest.
Yes, for the nest safety, I sent Bob out.
So there's nobody here that can defuse it.
Unfortunately, no. No one here.
Do we know
Even
who
Rose,
put
I
it?
heard she was really good with stuff like this.
Give me a persuasion check, Texas.
Ooh, yeah. Yes. That would be a 28.
Okay. When you go like, what about Roach? I heard she was really good at build and stuff like that. You hear, you see this big sigh come from Evie as she turns around and she's like, "You're telling people you're good with things?" And she's like, "I don't have to tell them anything." And she just gives like a little smile, and then she like looks over at where you are, Texas, and she gives you a little wink.
I will wink back.
Yeah, she takes a small robotic piece from her side and looks over at your owl and just begins tinkering with something.
Ooh, okay. So I'm gonna kind of excuse myself and walk over to her because we've got some bonding time to do, and I'm gonna hand over my owl.
Nope.
No?
The minute you
I
walk
can't?
towards the door to make a beeline inside the place,
No?
Evie puts a hand up, and as she does, there is a flash of druidic energy. As standing in front of this space is no longer the construct of Evie, but it is a giant gorilla, a giant ape. As she wild shapes, you hear as metal begins to unfold, and the ground responds to her, and a giant gorilla stands where Evie once stood. The construct wild shaping to stand in front of you.
My bad. I was just going to talk to her. I can wait. We can have this conversation. We're just trying to protect everybody else. I mean, apparently Bob is in danger, enough of danger that you sent him away. So we need to get this taken care of as soon as possible because he is back and he is in the middle of all of this.
I'm a bomb.
You should probably not announce that. That terrifies people.
It does.
You are the bomb, buddy.
Evie, who would have done this? And I can kind of guess the why, but I'd like to hear it.
She looks at Texas. She looks at Cass, William, Kiara, Turk. You feel her summing you up. The gorilla gives a giant sigh, and you feel her drop the wild shape back into the form of Evie. And as she does, she takes a step backward as if to say, "Come on in." And she says, "It goes without saying, but it's my job to protect them. If you hurt them, I'll kill you."
Understood.
Equally, it's my job to protect them.
Yeah.
Same as said.
And she goes, I get it. You have his eyes.
Don't say that again.
Yes, sir. And she will extend her hand outward, allowing all of you to make your way into this space. Hi, everybody that's just joining us. Hello, hello. Thank you for the follows. We'd love to have you guys. You make your way into this space. It's tight. This space was not made for you guys to be. It's a vet's office. But Roach looks happy as heck to see you guys. She jumps off the table a little bit, and she runs over to Turk. She's like, "Hey, you see what I did there when you left?"
Yeah, that was actually pretty wicked. And did Evie teach you that?
No, I taught myself that. Did it look cool though?
It kind of skeeved me out a little bit, just to be honest, little one. But yeah, it was cool.
Mission accomplished then. She's like, "Can I pet your dog?"
Let me ask. So she wants to pet you. Is that all right, Turk? I mean, is that okay, Wolf?
Wolf doesn't respond.
Wolf? I'm going to go ahead and put my hand down and put my hand on his head.
Wolf feels weird, bud. He's a little cold to the touch. He's got like he's kind of like the metal, got that metal skin. You don't know if it's part of the appearance or not, but Wolf's head dots up in your direction, and you hear a voice in your head, but you hear, "How best can I serve you today?"
I think we're good for now. I'm going to let the little one pet you. Please don't cause any issues.
Acknowledged.
Go ahead.
She pets Wolf a little bit, and she kind of looks at him and she's like, "He feels weird." With that, Evie is going to lead you all past the table outside into a small courtyard. Where you see a few other individuals all standing at the ready. You see another individual that looks like he could have played Gary in a movie. He's grown out his red beard to try to match it, but it's grown in weird in places. It's one of those guys that just has never been able to grow that full beard. But he's wearing a Hawaiian shirt and is of the same sort of rotund demeanor. He's working a grill in the backyard of this little area, and as he's there, there's other individuals out in the space as well. You see a construct that's built real tall and lanky, but does not look very sturdy at all. Looks like a stiff wind could blow him over. It's almost as if he's got stilts for legs. And he is tilting his head to the side, and he's got this alien look to his eyes. Yeah. So, yeah.
Evie. Is Evie there?
Yeah, Evie is there, and she sort of looks about the space and nods at all of you and says, "Yes, what is it?"
I need those questions answered.
What questions would that be, William? She sits in a small chair, cross-legged. The chair is low to the ground, and she gestures at a chair opposite her. Roach is darting about the space. She's kind of playing with Cass's hair for a little bit, taking like little strands of it and looking at it, and then she runs over to where Kiara is, and she's just kind of like picking at all of your clothes. She goes over to where Texas is, and it's like she's not used to being taller than anybody, so she's kind of looking at her and like taking your hat off. She holds out a hand for your owl.
Oh, yeah, I hand over the owl.
Yeah. She takes the owl, and she's just kind of like looking at the owl, and she takes out some tinkerer's tools and is just kind of listening to the conversation that's happening off in the corner. What is your question, William?
Who would have done this? And what was their reasoning, you think? Other than the obvious.
There are two groups that I believe might be responsible for what is happening with Bob. There's a group of individuals that have been looking to take over the nest as a form of drug and gun running to the larger quadrants. The nest connects underground to all the major points here in Monterey. You can access it from all different spots because it makes it easier. There's actually a ventilation system connected to the nest, as if back in the day your father had some grand design for this area. We're coveted real estate, William. Could you imagine the power of being able to go anywhere you want to in the city under the cover of darkness, under the ground? There are gun.
I get it.
There are gun
Where
runners.
do we start?
It could be them. It could also be the scrappers. We have a commodity here that I am reticent to talk about, and she cocks a head over towards where Roach is. She is dirty and foul-mouthed and sneaky, but she is a first gen. Her parents lived here and were unmodded. On the black market, someone like Roach is going to be worth more money than anyone here will ever see in any of their lifetimes.
That's horrific.
And Kat's gonna stick her hand up and be like, "What's a first gen?"
A first gen is a first generation, completely unmodded, not touched by technology. While some may view that as a severe detriment, no augmentation of dark vision or things like that. It also it also has the potential to be highly sought after by those that could use those organs to extend their lifetime.
So she would be like hunted.
No, she would be sold piece by piece.
All right, so where's their base?
She will take a small map out. As she does, you overlook the town of Monterey. In a small corner of this town, far tucked away on a large hill, where the old postgraduate school used to be, there is now a headquarters, and you see the Scrappers written in what looks to be like blue crayon, and it looks to be like somebody got a hold of the map with this blue crayon and they drew some skulls around this place. Below where the postgraduate school was, tucked away in the eastern part of the city, is an area called the Row, or the Wharf, as it looks like. It's either called the Row or the Wharf. And the Wharf looks to be this area where like you could access via ship. If you were a gun runner or a drug runner, this would be the area. Evie says, "I cannot leave this place. I know what you think that what I did with Bob was heartless, but I have a responsibility to these people. I made a promise to your father, and I aim to keep it."
Not a problem. Even if these aren't the guys that did it, they deserve to be wiped off the map. What's Bob's payload delivery amount? Like, what's the blast radius?
What are you talking about?
What's Bob's blast radius? If he goes, how big of an area is he going to take out? If they wanted this area just alone, I assume that it won't be that devastating. Maybe just a few city blocks.
Bob, what did you tell them was inside of you? And Evie turns and looks, and she said, and Bob said, "Oh, I told them that I had a nuclear bomb in me. It is what Roach said before you sent me away." And Evie shakes her head. She says, "Bob, you have the equivalent of a nuclear bomb in you. You all don't understand. Bob is not strapped with a nuclear device from the early, time periods? Bob has been loaded with an EMP. When a nuclear bomb goes off, an EMP pulse is sent forth from it. I'm afraid what Bob is carrying is not the equivalent of the destruction of organic matter, but quite the opposite.
That makes sense. All right. They want the organics preserved, and they want you, the non-organics constructs, eliminated.
Evie turns to look at Cass as Cass like kind of waves in her direction. What is it?
What's an EMP?
Electromagnetic pulse.
Hey,
Okay.
Gas, it'll knock out all electronics, anything that has to do with technology, anything that was built after 1976, basically, completely wiped out.
Everything but her. And others like her. And Evie looks over at Roach and says, most humans or people that you view as organics today have small parts of electronic matter in them. Kidneys, hearts, lungs, pieces that have been replaced over years. Even small children that you see walking around have been upgraded.
But then it wouldn't make sense for either of those groups to want to equip Bob with this.
It would, because the
No, it
biological material will be harvestable.
Right, but that doesn't make sense. You send out an electromagnetic pulse. It's going to deteriorate anything electronic. If most people are considered construct of any kind and they have electronic parts, it's going to ruin the value of the organic parts because the organic parts can no longer be sustained.
No, it
They
takes
don't-
out.
I'll give you
it
two
takes
reasons.
out all the constructs in this area,
Right.
and it also floors down, sends unconscious all or the majority of the organic. Because if they've just got a little bit that they depend on, it takes them out enough to be harvested. Because it's
So that's
just
two
not an area,
reasons.
right?
And two people that could do it. But I say we take out the more atrocious of the two first, and if they didn't do it, then we'll continue with the second.
Evie
Go ahead.
once again looks at Cass and says, yes.
How many are there that are like her, that are completely person?
Roach
Yes.
burps rather loudly and says, none.
You're an original, that's for sure.
How many first gens is what she's asking.
Where? Here in the nest or above ground?
Anywhere.
In the place where Bob would end up being with the thing inside of him that would hurt the people that it was supposed to hurt.
She looks about the space and she goes, Thomas, do you know? The large individual with the stilt legs walks over and he says, I am not sure. It would take some time to calculate.
What about just a guess? Like a dozen? 500? Two?
Let me ask them. And Bob sort of looks over at him, and the tall figure sits down on the ground and then disperses. Small cloud, just like this form, like is just standing there, like very tall, very lanky, and then like disappears from the space. Tiny little like motes flying off in all different directions, and then collects back into that corporeal form, and he goes, 4.
And if one is worth a lifetime of... Yeah.
There are 4 within 3,000 miles of our current location.
Are you saying this EMP affects 3,000 miles?
I'm saying we have yet to test Bob's limits. Bob was constructed to be a tourism bot. He is connected to the larger mainframe to be able to upload photos.
God.
There is no telling how far his reach will be. And Evie looks at you all and says, I have some resources, but I'm going to be completely honest with you. This, and she reaches over and pulls back the shirt, and once again, that timer is a going. You're at about 64. She looks at you all and says, I can't lose them all. I will support you. I will give you resources. I will grant you entrance where I can. But when push comes to shove, if this is not handled, we have to do the right thing.
I think that's something that we all understand.
Do you have a
It's sending him
manual
into
for
the-
Bob?
What was that? Hang on, Turk. What was that? What was that last bit?
It is sending him deep into the ocean. Is that going to? Do you know that that works, or is that just your best guess and hope?
Even Bob has a limit to the area that he cannot be affected by the pressures of the ocean. I did not know that there would be an island that he would run into, but I thought get him deep enough and he would succumb to the natural pressures.
And you believe that would disable the device within Bob, or?
It is not an exact science, but it is better
Yeah.
than him being here. Bob is currently, as of this moment, the most dangerous individual in the world. And all eyes turn to Bob, who just kind of gives a big smile, and he goes, I am and have a bomb.
So, like, when I'm in lecture and I can't get signal on my phone, I think it's because the walls are really thick or something. What if we just put him in a thick wall building so he can't connect to the Wi-Fi?
Perhaps underground, surrounded by concrete?
I may have a solution. I just don't know if it would work or not. Actually, well, I guess Texas would say this. I may have a solution. I don't know if it would work or not. I have the ability to make you could call it a tiny hut. It's pretty strong. We might be able to do some testing on it.
There is a pause, and Evie backs up and looks over at Bob, and eyes shift over to Roach. The other individual, the tall individual, backs up from where you are too, and you see the guy at the grill pause mid-flip of a burger and like put the spatula down, and all eyes dart to Texas. And Roach says, "Told you," and she keeps playing with the owl. And the guy in the Hawaiian shirt flipping the burger looks at everybody and he goes, "Hold on. Wait. Do y'all have access to magic?"
Did you notice the island that you didn't notice?
And that's where we're going to end tonight's episode. Did you notice the island you didn't notice?
Ixnay on the island.
So that is a perfect place to end tonight's episode. With the group finding a bastion of sorts, having it narrowed down to 2 different people that could have done this, and William's plans in hopes of, like, let's just knock them both out. And
Before dinner.
Before dinner, and figure out what's going on. The countdown to dinner has begun.
Oh, yes, it has.
Thank you all so much, and I'm so sorry that we had some individuals that were being a little inappropriate in the chat, but thank you so much, chat, for staying tuned with us and helping out and making stuff happen. We make sure that Indigo Chameleon is always a place where everybody can hang out. So the Meeple Palace. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, Lord Xminus, the Ginger Zemnis. Oh, I should have known that. Lord Zemnis. Yes, all of you, brand new. Thank you. Indigo Connect. And we can't wait for next week where we go back to the future. And hey, get lost. We'll see you soon.
Ooh, that's right.
You gonna go raid?
I
You gonna go
wanna-
raid? You
we're
gonna
gonna
raid?
raid that. I